Good day, this is Sky with Smart Poker Study, and in this video I'm going to help you find potential leaks using the LeakTracker report within PokerTracker 4, and then you take those potential leaks and dive into them a little bit further within the statistics tab. I'm going to show you all of that right now, and I highly recommend that if you're using PokerTracker 4, pause the video, open up the program, follow along with me, do exactly what I'm doing. So you're going to start off in the cash game tab. Over here, LeakTracker, click on that. You've got lots of options up top for the different game stakes, table size, all that stuff. For me, I play mostly shorthanded, not heads up, not full, but mostly shorthanded, so we're going to keep it here. No limit or pot limit. There's also the fixed limit option if you do play on those kinds of games. And I generally keep it on the overall tab. You could look at all of your numbers by position should you choose to do so. I have all dates, so we're looking at the full database right here. And you're going to simply, once you've selected the parameters, click Run Analysis. And it really doesn't take long. You can see that we're looking at 32,676 hands. And among all of these different stats, you'll see basically the same thing. Dark gray bar area, the green area right here represents the average winning player statistical range. It doesn't show you the numbers, if this is 10% and 25%. It doesn't show you that, at least not on this graph right here. Now this dark black bar, that's where my number is. So you can see I fall in the lower half of the average winning player's numbers. If you actually wanted to see what these numbers are from low to high, you can click on this link right here, watch the video on the statistic, in this case, voluntarily put money into the pot, and about midway through the video, they tell you what the average winning players are at low stakes, high stakes, shorthanded, and full ring tables as well. But you can see I'm roughly in the middle. Now, this is called LeakTracker. What it does is it shows you where your stat falls among an average winner's range. Now, just because your stat might fall outside of it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a leak, but it's something that you should look into. Let's take a look down here. C-bet flop, I'm on the low side. I'm within the green area, but I'm super low, right? My value is 60.3%. Most players, most winning players, C-bet anywhere from 60 up to it's probably like 85%, give or take. I'm at the low range, so this might be an area that I'll want to look into. But let's take a look at one other thing that really stands out to me. Fold to flop bet, you could see I'm really high, way outside even the gray area, outside of the green for sure. Fold to turn bet, right outside of the green. And fold to river, I'm high once again as well. Let's click on this fold to river specifically. When you click on any statistic down here, you can see the information changes over here. Fold to river bet gives you a lovely definition so you know exactly what the statistic is all about. Percentage of the time that a player folded to any open bet on the river, given that he had a chance to do so. An open bet just means the first bet. It's not one of the raises, a 2-bet or a 3-bet. It gives you the formula, number of times a player folded to a bet, number of times a player could fold to a bet. You can see my value, 72%, almost 75%. I fold almost 3 out of every 4 times I face a bet. Now, the determination based on this stat and the average winning player's numbers is that I need improvement. So here's some information right here that I can read and start to work on. Watch the video, which gives you some strategy elements to decrease or increase the stat. So this is your first step to learning what you can do to potentially plug a leak or at a minimum, just improve your statistics for hopefully better play. The second thing you can do is filter for this exact situation and then start reviewing hands. Alrighty, let's head back to the statistics tab so we can filter for this exact situation to review hands to see what kind of mistakes we're potentially making. So what you'll want to do, go to more filters. In this particular instance for river folds, more filters, actions and opportunities, on the river, and then river folds, and then simply turn on any fold. Bam, we're going to see hands where I simply folded the river. You can see all of my river actions right here are going to be fold, fold, check, fold. All of them are folds. There might even be a bet fold here or there, which there actually should be. It looks like I'm not betting all that often before I fold on the river. So now that we have these hands filtered, you can see everything is negative because we folded automatically lost the hand. What you'll want to do is start going by position, maybe look at 5, 10 hands by position, and try to figure out what you are doing wrong. And there's already 2 hands that I can spot that I want to look at, King 9 suited and 7-6 suited. You could see I raised pre-flop in both of those hands. I was in the small blind. Unopened pot, so I was the first one to raise. I bet the flop, bet the turn, so I double barrel c-bet, but then I check folded on both of these boards. Let's see if I'm making any mistakes here. Right-click, replay hands, or you can double-click any hand to open up a single replayer here. Now we're going to start going through the action. Fold, fold, we open raise. Villain in the big blind calls. Let's take a look at this player. Very loose aggressive player, 58-25, 3-bets at 8%. He chose not to 3-bet us here. He only folds in the big blind versus a small blind open raise only 50% of the time. So I should have expected him to call right here. Now this is interesting. Before we even watch the rest of the hand, he folds to flop, c-bets 39%, folds on the turn 33%. So he is not honest. He calls most of the time versus c-bets. But then look at that, folding on the river 71% of the time. If I'm going to bluff this player, it has to be a triple barrel. If I'm going to at least pull the trigger on the second one. I might fire no matter what on the flop as a bluff. But if I'm going to fire the turn, I know he's not folding most of the time. I'm going to have to plan to bet that river. Let's see what happens. Ooh, over cards plus a flush draw. Loving this right here. I c-bet half pot. He calls. What a shame. The turn 10 doesn't help me whatsoever. I c-bet half pot again, and he calls. Well, this is the perfect spot right here. I need to be triple barreling because, like I said, he is so honest on the river. But we check. I do not like this play whatsoever. Instead of making it, I didn't have to make it half pot like I did the other 2 times. 8 big blinds would be half pot. I'd probably like it slightly bigger, like 9 or 10 big blinds, to really seal the point home that I have an overpair. I'm going for max value, or I'm going for value on the river. But he bet 16 big blinds. It could have been, I mean, he could have quad deuces for all I know, right? Maybe I would have given value by triple barreling here. I ended up folding, but given everything that I've discussed, I think I really missed a good triple barreling opportunity. Gave him a really easy river bluff against me. Let's take a look at the second hand. We raise. Totally different villain. You can see this one, 60/9. Very loose passive player. He folds 66%, so more often than not, folds on the flop. Doesn't like to fold turn. So we raise. He calls right here. We flop absolutely nothing in. An ace jack jack is a great flop. You can imagine we raised pre-flop. He's going to put us potentially on any ace. If he has pocket 8s, 7-6 suited like we do, pocket deuces, king 4 suited, there's so much that he can easily fold right here. I love the flop barrel or flop bluff, and he calls, which is a shame. We kind of expected him to fold. He stuck around, meaning he's not scared at all on that flop. The 10 hits, so if he's not scared on this flop right here, the 10 connects really well with this flop. King 10 just now hit, I'm sorry, King Queen just now hit a straight. There's a couple of clubs for flush draws like we have, obviously. Jack 10 just now got a full house. A set of 10s, which might not have folded on the ace high board, just caught a full house on us. King 10 hits pair plus draw. There's so much that he can continue staying in with. I do not like the double barrel. I don't think he's folding. I'm not betting for value. This connects with whatever range he has that stayed in on that board. All the reason to just check in this spot right here. But I barrel, maybe hoping to kind of set my own price. Maybe if I checked and if you like this board, maybe he's going to bet 4 or 6. I'm sorry, 6 or 7 big blinds. So I'd have to pay more to see that river. So it's kind of a blocking / bluff bet. River comes a 3. Bummer. Doesn't help me whatsoever. Everything is ugly. I check. He bets half pot. Easy fold for me right here. But I think I'm happy with this river fold. I don't think a check raise would have been the right play either, especially given that he only bets the river 28% of the time, which means probably a pretty honest value better on rivers. And at this point, I think I should have saved or could have saved 4 big blinds right here. So the river fold was good. But the interesting thing is I learned a little bit about the prior street, the turn in this hand, and how I am potentially maybe pushing some bluffs too far and making those bluffs when I shouldn't. Because there's a good chance if he had just a couple of spades on his own, or maybe like a pocket 9s hand that didn't want to fold on the flop, he's potentially just checking behind. I could have seen that free river club to try to catch my flush. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching the video. Highly recommend that you do this for yourself. Go to LeakTracker, figure out where you have potential leaks, and then head back to the Statistics tab, filter for that situation, and start reviewing hands to find your mistakes so that you can work to not repeat them in your next play session. Thank you much, and I'll catch you in the next one.